So, for those of you who don't know, J. Cole had dropped a new song called Port Antonio, and a lot of people were confused about the song being released. A lot of people were saying, why is he explaining his apology 5 months later after he apologized the first time? A lot of people were confused why he would have to explain his apology, even though he already apologized and we know what he apologized for. But as I was listening to the song and I was watching other people's reactions, I come to the realization is that he's apologizing or he's explaining his apology to Drake. He's not trying to explain himself to the viewers or the listener. He's trying to explain why he apologized in the first place to Drake himself. Now, the second verse is where all the controversy lays, and this is where we're going to get to where everything starts making sense, and I'll explain right now. And this is where it starts getting good. He says, Benjamin Button co-flows reverse time to find deliveries good as mine. You got to search primes. I'm scaling heights higher than birds can perch, trying to be something, hoping that peace comes to my cursed mind. One thing's for sure, that I've matured from my first rhyme. I learned a long ago, you can't please them all, and it hurts trying. And this goes back to his beef. This goes back to the beef with Kendrick Lamar, where he ended up making a diss song with 7 Minute Drill and evidently taking it back and apologizing for it. He apologized. He didn't want to go further. He didn't want to take. So he's talking about how he's matured from his first rhyme. He's matured from how he used to be as an MC, and his perspective has changed. And he said, I learned long ago you can't please them all, talking about the fans, talking about the viewers, and it hurts trying. And then he says, in this game where all you've got is your name, like Dirk, I'm smirking at guys trying to besmirch mine. Absurd times where the fake get toted as wise. I can see hate in both of your eyes, but the third's blind. And this is where he's referring to the third eye. You know, if y'all don't know about the third eye, it's your pineal gland. It's, you know, they say if you have your third eye open, it's like having your sixth sense open. So it's being more enlightened type beat. So he says, I can see hate in both of your eyes. So right here, he's talking about Drake and Kendrick and the beef and how it's become a crazy thing that he could see when he looks at them. And this is where Cole comes out as the middle child and starts expressing how he feels about them both. He says, but you struggle, which explains the puzzled look on the dull face as the words find. I hate what raps become, but like do not disturb signs. Can't knock it if I see it's about the dough. They instigate the effery because it's profitable. But singing stop the violence tunes when dudes in hospitals. So this right here, when he says, so you search lines, but you struggle, which explains the puzzled look on the dull face as the word finds, it's like him talking to Drake. At the first bar at top, he's talking to both of them because he says, I can see in both of your eyes, but the third's blind. So you search lines. And right here, he's telling Drake, but you struggle, which explains the puzzled look on the dull face as the words find, which makes sense because this is the first time in 2 years where Drake hasn't hit the billboards or the top 100 on the billboards. And then he says, I hate what raps become, but like do not disturb signs. Can't knock it if I see it's about the dough. They instigate the effery because it's profitable. And this is where he's talking about the media gaining monetary gain over the beef after all that's been said and after all that's been done. Everybody in media is the one that's making money off of it more so than anybody else besides Drake and Kendrick. But singing stop the violence tunes when dudes in hospitals. This is basically when the media talks about this beef constantly, so constantly, because they're making money off of it. But the time or that the second that somebody gets hurt, and this is when we're talking about the top 5 situation and the hit of J3 situation and the things that have been going on back and forth, that's when people look at this and realize when is enough enough. Because when it starts resorting in physical violence after the fact, that's when it starts becoming a problem. Remember, after this beef, a security guard got shot at Drake's home. So he's saying, but singing Stop the Violence tunes when dude's in hospitals. Because the minute that this beef escalates to something worse, the same media that was talking about this constantly is going to be the same people that are going to talk about prayers and condolences and things like that. And this was important too. I pulled the plug because I seen where it was about to go. They wanted blood. They wanted clicks to make their pockets grow. They see this fire in my pen and think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog. I would have lost a bro. I would have gained a foe, and all for what? Just to attain some mo? Props from strangers that don't got a clue what I've been aiming for? Now, this is what I'm talking about when I say that he's talking to Drake. Now, remember, he went at Kendrick. He went at Kendrick with 7-minute drill. He went at him. He even used D. Williams, aka the conductor, which is a producer that Drake used. So the thing is that the way that y'all have to look at it is that Cole was coming from the aspect of I'm on Drake's side. And later on, he says he talks about not picking a side and how people were saying, like, bro, I'm not on nobody's side. He even explains that in the song. But when he dropped 7-minute drill, I'm not even gonna hold you, y'all. It looked like he was choosing Drake's side. So what I'm saying is that J. Cole, the way he came out with 7-minute drill, it looked like he was choosing to be on Drake's side. Not only that, he used the same producer that Drake used for All the Dogs, which was D. Williams. So even if it doesn't look that way, because he says in the song later on that he doesn't choose a side, that he didn't choose a side, it looked kind of like he did. Now, this is what I'm trying to say when I say he was talking to Drake. He says, I pulled the plug because I seen where that was about to go. They wanted blood. They wanted clicks to make the pockets grow. This is him talking about the media still. He says, they see this fire in my pen and think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog. I would have lost the bro. Now, this is him talking to Drake, bro, in my perspective. He said, I wouldn't have lost the battle because this is when he was making 7-minute drill and he was talking about him going against Kendrick Lamar. He says, I wouldn't have lost the battle. And this is the problem, y'all. I don't like that coulda, shoulda, woulda shit, bro. I don't like none of that, bro. I don't like when someone tells me, oh, you could have done this or you should have done that. Nah, bro. It's already too late. Stop living in the past. That already happened, dog. Don't be over here saying, oh, I wouldn't have lost if I did. I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. Why? Because you did back down. So don't come out here and say that you wouldn't have lost, bro, because you had the opportunity and you took a step back and you apologized. So that's the problem that I have with that lyric. Don't talk about what you could have done or what you wouldn't have done and that you wouldn't have lost the battle because you backed down from it, dog. And this is why I think he's talking to Drake. But it's like when a basketball player gets asked who's the best player in the league, and he doesn't say LeBron, he doesn't say KD, he says himself, because you're not going to knock anybody for believing in themselves over LeBron. If they said who's the best player in the league and you're in the league and you say, oh, it's me and not LeBron, people aren't going to look at you sideways for saying that. But if you were to compete and if you were to back down, now it leaves an open door for people to make the comments that they have made in this past time. But I think he's talking to Drake when he says this because he's like, yo, bro, you know what, bro? I wouldn't have lost the battle. I would have lost a bro. Retrospect talking about Kendrick Lamar. I would have lost him, bro. I would have lost him as a friend if I were to do what y'all did. I would have gained a foe, and it would have been everybody looking at J. Cole under a microscope like they've been looking at these two MCs under a microscope. And he said, and all for what? Just to attain some more props from strangers that don't got a clue what I've been aiming for? This is him basically saying, like, just to impress people that I don't know, just to win the credit of people that don't even know me and why I do this for in the first place. And that's his piece. I'm just breaking down the lyrics, but like I said, this is where it starts talking about Drake. Since the age of 14, Jermaine is no king. If that means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm bots just to sway the whole thing on social media, competing for your favorable memes. Now, this is a thing that I was trying to explain. J. Cole knows that he is not the first. He's always claimed himself as being the middle child. That's why he says Jermaine is no king. If it means, and this is where he throws shade to the both of them, if that means I got to dig up dirt and pay the whole team. And then this is where he talks about Drake specifically, of algorithm bots just to sway the whole thing. Now, remember in the lyrics with Kendrick, he says Zach Bia and Twitter bots. And all the bots that have been on Twitter in this beef, there's multiple bots that you could find on X or Twitter, however you want to call it. You go on Twitter right now, bro, and you're going to see bots, literal bots, talk about this beef, bro. You could go to Twitter right now. I promise you, bro, if you just keep scrolling, you're going to see bots that aren't real talk about this beef. And that's what he's talking about. On social media, competing for your favorable memes. And this is when everybody starts quoting lyrics and songs and quoting the beefs, if whether they're quoting Drake or Kendrick Lamar. That's what it's really come down to. But this is all him talking to Drake, in my perspective. Look, he says, to be considered best or live in rest, the weight of both things. I understand the thirst of being first that made them both swing. And this is where he's talking about how wanting to be number one had caused this issue in the first place. Protecting legacies, so lines got crossed, perhaps regrettably. My friends went to war. I walked away with all they blood on me. Now, this is, first of all, there was no bloodshed except for the person that got popped, but we don't even know if that was related to this beef. But his friends did go to war. His friends did beef, and he had to walk away from it. So I don't understand why he says, I wouldn't have lost. I wouldn't have. Like, you're saying all these things, but then at the same time, you're saying, like, you don't want a war. You don't want problems. But I guess you just believe in yourself enough to know that you wouldn't lose, I guess. But like I said, don't like the shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff. But he is admitting that his friends did go at it, and he had to walk away from it because he just didn't like it. Just didn't like how it felt. The minute that he inserted himself, he regretted it. And then he says, now some will discredit me, and this is what I'm talking about. Try wipe away my pedigree, but please find a guy out that's rapping this incredibly. And then I will, bro. It's Kendrick Lamar. Like, that's the thing, dog. You back down from the beef. So this is why he's saying they're going to discredit me. That's why he says it in the beginning, bro. It's because he already knows that when he says that nobody's rapping this good, it's like, nah, Kendrick's rapping that good, bro. And you could have had the chance to prove it, that you were better than him or that you were probably just as good as him. Everybody would have rather had Kendrick go at it with Cole than Kendrick going at it with Drake. The rap skill would have been crazy, dog. It would have been insane. But we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. My dog texted me. I'll share the words he said to me. If you refuse to shoot the gun, don't mean the gun ain't deadly. And this is the thing, bro. We'll never know how deadly that gun is. We'll never know if the bullet were to pierce, if it would put us down, or if we could take it and take the bullet out and recover the next day. We'll never know how strong that gun is, Cole, because you back down. That's the thing, bro. And that's what I don't understand about this whole thing. Like, bro, I get it. Like I said, with the analogy, if you're in the NBA and an interviewer said, who's the best in the league? And you don't say LeBron and you say it's yourself. Okay, fine. You have faith in yourself. The only thing is that you push the line. You push the line. That's why people be giving Dylan Brooks a hard time, because Dylan Brooks was trying to say, I poke bears, talking about LeBron, right? That I poke bears. And then when you poke the bear, you get eliminated in the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? Like, now people have opened this door to judge you because you've actually stepped in the ring of fire. And that's what I'm saying, bro. When he dropped that song, 7 Minute Drill, that opened this door for people to discredit him, like he was afraid of people doing so. Not afraid of people doing so, but the fact that they're doing it. So he says, I guess in that metaphor, hypothetically, the gun is me. I text him back like, guess a gun and what I'm trying to be. They stripped me of my spot and now I'm finally free. Now this is people, because they discredit him, he's able to walk free from this. And I understand that because he took the high road in this. But at the same time, all this guess a gun ain't what I'm trying to be, but if I were to shoot, it would have been deadly. It's like, bruh, like, I don't know, dog. It's to the point where I'm like, all right, bruh, like, I guess you do believe in yourself still after the fact that you could have won, but I don't like hearing that coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know what I mean? He says, they say I'm picking sides, and this is what I was saying. He's talking about how he's not picking sides. But when he dropped 7 Minute Drill, he used the same producer, which is D. Williams, or the conductor, who helped Drake make several songs on For All the Dogs. D. Williams was also a producer that was allegedly what might have been a producer that could have been at the Mark Hotel. That was exposed by Ebony Prince, but that's another story. I made a video, you can check it out. But if you're using the same producer as Drake that he used For All the Dogs, and if you're responding to Kendrick Lamar in this beef and not Drake, it looks like you really picked a side. And that's why he's explaining his apology. And that's why I think he's explaining his apology to Drake. He's saying they, as in like the people, the media, everyone outside of him, Drake and Kendrick, they say I'm picking sides. Hey, don't you lie on me. They start another war. Hey, Drake, and this is what I'm talking about. He's been talking to Drake the whole time. They start another war. Hey, Drake, you always be my guy. I ain't ashamed to say you did a lot for me, my guy. He said, F all the narratives. Tapping back into your magic pen is what's imperative. And going back to Drake losing his focus, Drake not making billboards, and this is him telling him, get back on it, bro. Get back on it. You're still my guy. You're my boy. I apologize because of this. I apologize because of that. I didn't want no problems between y'all. I didn't want no problems with none of y'all. Yeah, I still think that my penmanship is better than the next man. And I know I stepped down. I know that's going to discredit me, but you'll always be my guy. I didn't want to make a foe out of Kendrick Lamar. And that's what it is, bro. That's how Cole is looking at it from this aspect months later, right? And he says, Drake, you'll always be my guy. I ain't ashamed to say you did a lot for me, my guy. He said, F all the narratives. Tapping back into your pen is what's imperative. Reminding these folks why we do it, it's not for beefing. It's for speaking our thoughts, pushing ourselves, reaching the charts. And this is what I'm talking about. Drake ain't hit the charts. Drake's been on the charts for a few years. It's the first time in a few years where Drake hasn't been on the charts. So it's funny that J. Cole has said this. Even funnier that Drake had liked this post, because I feel like Drake is in a position where he feels he's tired. He wants to rest. Hit a J3 and Academics were on the phone. And after they got on the phone, Hit a J3's camp and Academics both said that Drake is on vacation. Academics followed up by saying that Drake is tired and exhausted. So this is like, in a way, J. Cole giving Drake a pep talk and saying, do what you were doing before, reach the charts, do what you got to do to get back in that mode. Reaching your mind, deep in your heart, screaming to find, emotions to touch, something inside to open you up, help you cope with the rough times and shit. I'm sending love because we ain't promised shit. And this is basically him saying, like, bruh, I still like got love for you, bro. Tomorrow ain't promised. That's why I'm not on that type of hate. That's why I'm not on that type of time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say that to you tomorrow. He already apologized to Kendrick. He already said that he loves Kendrick, that he doesn't want to take it there with Kendrick when he made his apology months ago. This is why I'm saying he's not explaining his apology. He's explaining it to Drake. He's explaining his apology to Drake, not to us. He's talking to Drake, bro. He's talking to Drake. He's explaining why he apologized to Kendrick in the first place. And he's telling Drake that I still respect you after all of this. I still got love for you after all of this. And that's why I think that he's explaining his apology to Drake. That's what I got from this whole song, bro. But y'all tell me how y'all feel. I just don't like that he's out here trying to say, like, I know they're going to discredit me. Like, he knows the backlash that he's going to face for even saying that he would have won if he actually tried. But the thing is, bro, is that, I guess we'll never know, Doc. I guess we'll never know, huh? Y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. I honestly feel like he's talking to Drake. I feel like he's explaining his apology that he did with Kendrick Lamar to Drake and letting him know that it's all love on both sides. But y'all tell me how y'all feel. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace.